Hello everyone, this is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful Rabbit Hole, King Dio, and the upcoming Lauren Frey. Please check out BlackCatBooks.org for information on those. And today, just now, I managed to get through Yoshi's story, get through all the levels, have them all unlocked, have them ready to play whenever. I have basically cleared the game. Now, there's more things you can do in Yoshi's story, like a time trial stuff, challenge things. Like, I've heard getting all 30 melons in this game on every level is like a complete nightmare and like a great challenge. And I don't think I'll ever do that because I don't think I enjoy the game enough for that, but it is there if you're interested in doing it. But this is only the second time in my life that I've ever beaten every single stage in Yoshi's story. This is, out of all the games in the initial batch of NSO expansion, this was by far the N64 release that I was the least familiar with. Like, everything else, I've played and replayed to death. But Yoshi's story, I've played it a lot as a kid, but there was this tendency to just kind of only replay a handful of the levels, and I think it was because of how the level select screen is structured. You have to get hearts in order to progress, and the hearts are like the most hard to get thing in the game. Like, they're very well hidden. You have to go out of your way, and a lot of times I didn't really feel like getting them. If I got a heart, it was like an accident, right? And I think for the longest time I had no idea like the heart thing was even associated with the level select screen. I had to look it up at one point to like figure this out, and then I felt kind of dumb. But I haven't played this game since like 2015, right? Since before Woolly World came out. We've gotten 2 more Yoshi games since then. Woolly World and Crafted World, both of which I think are a lot better than this. Both of which are just wonderful platformers, especially Woolly World. Both of them like really had like stunning visuals and music and gameplay and level design. I loved both of those games. And having played Yoshi's Story again, like since clearing them, I think it's safe to say that like I don't like Yoshi's Story nearly as much as those. However, I did find myself surprisingly taken aback by how much I like Yoshi's Story in general. Because like I said, this is like one of my, not one of my most played Nintendo games on N64, right? Like, I like Mario Party more than this. I think I like Kirby 64 more than this. I like Pokemon Snap more than this. F-Zero X, Majora's Mask, Banjo-Kazooie, GoldenEye, Diddy Kong Racing. Like, the list goes on and on and on. I'll have to look at like a top 50, like, I'll have to make like a top N64 games list at some point. Probably when like Nintendo starts putting out like everything on NSO. But for the most part, I think Yoshi's Story would be on the bottom end of that list. Like, I like it a lot, but to say it's on par with like some of these others, like some of the best games ever made, that's really not fair. I think it really can't compete, and I think a big reason for that is because it is a 2D game in an era where basically everything else was evolving to 3D, right? And the games that were 2D, stuff like Kirby and Mischief Makers, are way better than it, I would say. Yoshi's Story has a lot of things going against it, with like the way the levels are structured, with like the fruit collecting thing, with the childlike tone, with like some of the simplistic levels, like some of the like the lack of real replay value. Like, there's the simplisticness of it all. Like, this was clearly a game that was intended for younger audiences, right? Like, it's like they took a look at Yoshi's Island and decided to like casualize it, sort of like going from Zelda 2 to A Link to the Past. Like, kids aren't 100%ing Yoshi's Island. They don't have the patience for it. They're not going to. I think I might have, like, at one point, but not for the entire game. So like they really toned that down, made it more about collecting things and just enjoying the environment. And it's a neat experimental title. I think there's really nothing else like it out there. I've never played something where every level theme is completely different. You don't have to worry about like reaching an end goal or anything. You just eat as much fruit as you can until you make it to the next stage. It feels like something that would it feels like something that would you would use to get a kid interested in maybe trying other Nintendo games, right? Like, yeah, here's a basic bitch Nintendo 2D platformer. Like, if you don't have a Super Nintendo, if you don't have Donkey Kong Country, you can play Yoshi's Story and have a reasonably good time with it, I think. I found myself going through it again, really enjoying going through these levels over and over again, like collecting things and like really mastering some of these weirder mini games that don't really have a lot of focus, like the melon race thing. Like you don't have to master the melon race or like the holdy thing, like the hold the melon car thing. Like, you don't have to get the hang of that, but there actually is a lot of skill to it, to the point where, like, I legit cannot do it in some of these other stages. Like, it takes a lot of skill and strategy, like, surprisingly so. And, like I said, there's a lot of value to be had, like, going through, like, the 30 melon run. Like, the game is really well designed around that, which is kind of odd, considering you don't need to do it, but... I really like the visuals a lot. I like all the moves you have, like this sniffing. I like the variety in the environments, like the enemy design in particular. I think every stage in this game has somewhat unique enemies. Like you don't see like bone dragons outside of the bone dragon pit. You don't see like the Jello guys all that much. Like there are two different dragons, like one that flies through the sky, one that goes through lava. Every stage, like for a good chunk of it, like feels completely original and unique, and feels like there's a lot of stuff hiding in every in every nook and cranny. Like whenever I found a white shy guy, I got excited because like, oh, I could just bring back one of my guys if I needed to. Oh, that's another thing I really like about the game. One of the things that makes it like different. The live system, right? Like, this is a short game where you're given 6 Yoshis, and that's it. Like, if you lose your Yoshis, they're dead. Like, they are completely gone. There's no way to get them back, and, like, 1-ups are very, very sparse. They're very uncommon, and getting a white shy guy is actually kind of a big deal, because, like, oh, you have an extra shot to get through the game, and I think that is a concept that needs to be revisited for a potential sequel. Like I've never seen anything like this. Like something structured this way where you have like a limited number of lives and have to get through like an entire game in order to like achieve your objective. I legit want to see a Yoshi Story sequel that follows up on this concept, but has you go through like a number of levels with a pre-assigned number of Yoshis and having to deal with the fact that like you have a finite number of dudes. I love that about this game. I think they could have done a lot more with it. And there are like interesting aspects to it. Like there are hidden Yoshis. There's a black and white one that have like special powers. You have Shy Guys that have that give you more health depending on what color you are, and it's just kind of neat, like choosing your Yoshi depending on what stage you want to play. I really like that style, like that aspect of it. It's a simple game to be sure, but it's very, very enjoyable, and one that I think has really held up well over the years in spite of everything going against it.